What if a single drop of water could change the course of destiny? The scorching sun of the Kenyan grasslands burned everything in sight. The blue sky held no clouds, offering no hope of rain. This was the harshest dry season in decades, forcing herds of zebras, antelopes, and elephants to travel for miles in search of the last remaining water holes. On the cracked ground lay carcasses of animals, dried and lifeless, scattered under the suffocating dusty wind. A pride of lions dragged themselves across the blistering savanna. Leading them was a male named Chuma, his dark mane coated with dust. The lionesses tried to shield their cubs, eyes full of worry. They had been walking for 3 days under the burning sun with no water. Among the cubs was a 3-month-old named Nuru. His golden fur gleamed faintly, and his wide black eyes once shone with curiosity, but now were dulled with exhaustion. As the pride crossed a patch of brittle grass, a thunderous sound shook the ground. A panicked herd of elephants charged, dust rising in thick clouds. The lions scattered to avoid being crushed. In the chaos, Nuru was pushed aside and tumbled into a thorny bush. When the herd finally passed, silence returned to the barren land. Nuru crawled out, trembling, calling for his mother with faint cries. But only the hot wind answered. The pride had moved far away, leaving him alone. That night, Nuru curled under a shriveled bush. The cold air made him shiver as distant roars of predators echoed in the darkness. Hunger gnawed, thirst burned, but fear rooted him in place. At dawn, he tried to lick a few drops of dew, but the sun quickly evaporated them. He stumbled across the cracked earth, tiny paws dragging, each breath a rasp. On the second day, he was nearly gone. His tongue was split and dry, his eyes hazy. He tried chasing a lizard, but his weak legs failed. Last, he found damp mud and lapped the foul liquid. It brought little relief. As the sun rose higher, his body collapsed again and again, forcing itself up only by the sheer instinct to live. By the third day, Nuru was only a shadow of life. His fur was matted with dust and thorns, his ribs clearly visible. His once bright eyes had grown dim. Breathing shallowly, he staggered on, when suddenly a strange scent reached him rubber, metal, and faintly water. Ahead stretched a black asphalt road cutting through the savanna. He crawled to the roadside and collapsed, too weak to move further. At that moment, a dark green Jeep rattled down the road. Inside, Maria Alvarez, a Spanish wildlife photographer, scanned the barren landscape for her climate documentary. Beside her was Mwangi, an experienced Kenyan safari guide. Suddenly, Mwangi slowed, pointing ahead. "There's something on the roadside." Maria squinted, then gasped as they neared. Lying in the dust was a lion cub, barely breathing. The Jeep screeched to a halt. They rushed out. Seeing the tiny, trembling body, Maria's heart clenched. She sprinted back to the car, grabbed a water bottle. Mwangi knelt near the cub, hesitant to touch him. When Maria unscrewed the cap, the sound made Nuru's dim eyes flicker. She tilted the bottle, letting drops fall onto his cracked lips. Most water spilled away, but then a spark lit in his eyes. With effort, Nuru lifted his head, his tiny paw reaching weakly for the bottle, as if clinging to life itself. Water trickled down his throat, reviving him. Each gulp carried a fragile hope. Maria and Mwangi exchanged a look. They could not leave him. They wrapped him gently in an old shirt and placed him in the Jeep. Maria cradled him in the back seat, feeding him drop by drop as the vehicle turned toward the Nairobi Wildlife Rescue Center. At the center, veterinarian Paul Henderson quickly assessed him. Severe dehydration, malnutrition, exhaustion, but no internal damage. Staff inserted IV fluids, cleaned wounds, and monitored his fragile heartbeat. Maria stayed close, eyes never leaving Nuru. In the first hours, his life hung by a thread. But slowly, his breathing steadied. His pulse grew stronger. Over the next 3 days, he improved. First blinking at sounds, then lifting his head, finally standing shakily on weak legs. Weeks passed. Nuru was fed with special formula, then minced meat. His curiosity returned, his playfulness grew. Staff named him Nuru, meaning light in Swahili, a reflection of his resilience. Maria became his sponsor, funding his care and documenting his journey of survival. When his strength returned, Nuru was placed in a semi-wild enclosure. There he learned to drink from ponds, stalk prey, and pounce. He failed often, but instincts reawakened. The day he caught his first prey, his eyes glowed with pride. He was ready for freedom. The release day arrived. When the cage door opened, Nuru hesitated, glancing back at Maria. For a moment, their worlds touched the human who saved him, the wilderness calling him home. Then he turned, stepping into the tall grass. Distant roars answered him, and in a rare stroke of fate, he was accepted into a pride instead of being chased away. A year later, Maria returned. From afar, she saw Nuru, now a strong young lion. When a cub approached him, Nuru played gently, no longer the dying creature she once found, but a protector of the new generation. Tears filled Maria's eyes, but they were tears of joy. She knew this story was not only about saving a lion, but about how a single act of compassion could tip the balance between life and death. At the rescue center's gate, a new sign was placed, an image of a lion cub lifting its paw toward a water bottle. The words below read, "One drop of water, one life." In a world threatened by climate change, Nuru's story stood as a reminder that even the smallest human actions can change destiny.